your latest news update from Western Mass News.
Good afternoon, I'm Amanda Callahan. Here's your latest news update from Western Mass News. A violent weekend in Springfield, 2 deadly shootings in a neighborhood plagued by crime. A pair of shootings on Spring and School Streets, leaving 2 people dead and 2 more injured as gun violence continues to rise across the city. This is the same neighborhood where 2 people were found shot to death in an apartment earlier this month. Now city leaders are calling for immediate change. And a busy weekend for the fire department in Springfield as well. Crews responding to multiple scenes across the city. From Friday night to Sunday, crews were called to several fires along with a hazardous materials call at the U.S. Postal Service Bulk Mail Distribution Center. The American Red Cross is offering support and help to find shelter for those people displaced. The Supreme Court is entering its final week of the term, and the justices are set to release decisions on a total of 10 cases, including an affirmative action case where the court is considering whether schools can continue to take race into consideration in their admission process. Another case looks at whether businesses can deny services to LGBTQ customers, and the justices are also looking at election laws along with President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program.
I'm meteorologist Jana Brown with a check of your forecast. Today is the first alert weather day as we've been dealing with a few rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Now, not much for thunder and lightning so far today. They've been more hit or miss, but definitely some good soakers. We have a few chances this evening and then another chance overnight tonight between about 2 and 4 a.m. We may have a little line come through with some gusty wind, some cloud to ground lightning. You may get woken up by some loud rumbles of thunder, and of course we'll have heavy rain. That's something that'll be consistent through the rest of this week. Shower and thunderstorm chances remain on the higher end for both Tuesday and Wednesday. High temperatures close to 80 both days and very humid. Temperatures all depend on how much sunshine we end up seeing. And you know how those showers and storms go with this summer-like pattern. It's very hit or miss. So Tuesday, Wednesday, the chance for scattered wet weather throughout the day. Thursday, it looks like most of the shower and thunderstorm chances will hold off until the later part of the day, the afternoon and evening. And Friday, we could actually get away with a dry day, which is still going to be on the warm and humid side. Dew points remain in the 60s through the end of the week. They do drop a bit for Friday and Saturday, but climb again by the end of the weekend.
Stay with Western Mass News on air, online, and on our app throughout the day for breaking news, weather, and exclusive content.